In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can go from a standard looking sales page that looks like this to an awesome, beautifully designed sales page that ultimately looks like this. So you can start selling more of your high ticket coaching program, whether that's an event or it's online coaching, doesn't matter. In this tutorial, we're going to break down step by step on how to actually create something that looks like it's worth the price tag that you're actually selling. The landing page that we're going to create is going to be fully linked up with scrolls, infographics, animations, images, and things that ultimately show a great deal of contrast. So you can basically get this landing page up and running as quickly as possible so you can start selling your high ticket coaching program. All right, so the first thing that you need in order to create a high converting sales page and landing page for a high ticket offer are these four elements over here. So there are a lot of YouTube videos out there basically explaining how to create pretty looking landing pages, but they forget the most important piece of the puzzle, which is the work that happens before the actual designing. All right, so you need to make sure that your sales pages, your copy, and everything is targeted specifically to a certain demographic, and is ultimately speaking to a very specific subsection of people, because your marketing needs to ultimately act as a laser beam, not just like a ray of sunshine trying to speak to everyone, because ultimately you're just going to have a pretty looking landing page that doesn't actually do anything. So the first thing you need to understand is who you're writing for and who you're creating this page for. The second thing is to have an incredibly irresistible offer that people actually want. The third step is to go through a persuasive copywriting process, which we'll talk about in a sec. And then we need to find some design inspiration that feels on brand to you. And that's ultimately going to help you get a way better result when you are creating the sales page. So in order to basically do these three things, we've created a series of custom GPTs. So we've got your target audience GPT over here. We've then got an offer creation GPT that takes the information from target audience, creates a grand slam offer for you. And then we've got our copywriting GPT as well. Now, I'm not going to do a full demo on using these GPTs. These are all available inside our school community, which is only $7 a month. So you can basically jump in, go through this process. But ultimately, once you've done those things, then we can move into the actual design of the sales page. So you can see here that I've now got my copy, all right, which was taken from my target audience, offer creation, and copywriting GPTs. So it's a long series of persuasive copywriting. Now, to anyone who is untrained might think like, what the hell is this? This is just like a load of gobbledygook. But essentially, the way that we write copy is based on the 6 neuro drivers, which is essentially neuromarketing, which basically is how do we speak to the part of the brain that makes decisions, okay? In neuromarketing, there's essentially 6 core elements that you need to basically integrate into your copywriting. And this is, again, like I said, what the GPT has been trained on. It's been trained on this process. But the first step is we need to grab people's attention. Then we need to speak to their me centricity, which is their core desires. The most important part of copywriting is essentially that you understand that your customer only cares about one thing, and that's what's in it for them. The third layer is emotion, all right? The copy that you're speaking to, the stories that you're telling need to obviously convey emotion in all of the words you're saying. We need visuals, right? We need images, we need videos. We need to show contrast, and we need to make it tangible. Now, contrast is one of my favorite elements of this, but essentially, if you look at any fitness coach out there, they're all doing before and afters. What does a fat person look like? And then what does a jacked person look like? And that's ultimately showing people very clearly in a way that's visual, the outcome that they're trying to achieve. Okay, so this is basically the framework behind what we're doing here. Once you've got your target audience, your offer, your copy, and your design inspiration, then we can start getting into the prompts and start creating the page. So what we're doing here is we're selling a high ticket offer. Now, this offer is basically selling an event, a 2-day intensive event on the Gold Coast. Basically, this is being run by my actual mentor. So this is a real sales page, and you can see the sales page here. Like, it's super simple, super basic, just a load of text, which again is not a problem, but we're going to take this and we're going to basically make it look 100 times better and make sure that it's conveying a high quality design, and ultimately it looks like it's worth a high ticket price tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find some design inspiration using Dribbble. I mean, you can use any sort of landing page inspiration thing you want. Dribble's pretty good for this, but ultimately I found this example, which to me, this has like a really sort of elegant design. It's got nice space for text heavy blocks and sections. It's got a good use of imagery, and I like the way the typography looks, okay? So it's also got space for things like testimonials and stuff like that, okay? So we're gonna take this reference and then we're gonna pop it into Google AI Studio. Now, I typically use Google AI Studio to create landing pages. And the reason I do that is because it just gives you so much flexibility in regards to prompting and improving the landing page. And then there's a clear direct path to actually hosting this so you can get live as soon as possible. So what I'm essentially going to do here is I'm going to basically brief it. I'm going to give it my design inspiration, and then I'm going to copy and paste all of my copy, which includes like, you know, details on the event, what the call to actions are. It takes people through a few testimonials. Ultimately, there's a lot of copy here. So let's see how it basically deals with it. Okay, so I just pasted my prompt in here. Okay, and the main part of this prompt really is, you know, create a high converting sales page from a high ticket consulting business. The goal is to get someone to book in a call from the page using the style and design inspiration from the attached images. And then here's the copy. Okay, so you can see the copy is split up. You know, it's just a big wall of text, which might seem crazy at first, but ultimately this copy is where the magic happens. This copy is written based on the 6 neuro drivers. Okay, so you can see the attention section of it is your brain stopping you from making your first $1 million? That headline basically gets people to introspect around the question. If someone wants to make $1 million, this is going to grab their attention. All right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and now add our design inspiration. Okay, so I've literally just taken our full example of the landing page here, and we're going to go ahead and hit build. All right, and like I said, the reason I love designing first in Google AI Studio is it has these cool little suggestions, right? So it says, you know, integrate testimonials, you know, give your app a voice. You can integrate Gemini's AI tools into it, you know, all of this cool stuff. Add visual storytelling elements. But ultimately, what Google AI Studio does is it creates the app, or it creates the web page in what we call React code. Now, React code is just a fancy style of writing code. It's a fancy coding language, and we're going to actually use Google AI Studio to transfer it into pure HTML so we can host this on a funnel building platform. I hope you're enjoying this video, my friend. I just wanted to take a quick moment to let you know about our school community. We basically take you through the entire process of building your digital home using AI and Google Gemini. Essentially, what you get access to for literally $7 a month is our entire step-by-step process, which includes all of our copywriting GPTs, how to do target audience research, how to create an offer that people actually want to buy, and then ultimately how to build your entire website, aka digital home, using AI. This process will literally save you hours and hours and hours, and it will also save you thousands of dollars in paying expensive designers and freelancers to essentially do this for you. But here's the entire step-by-step process you get access to for literally $7 a month. That is like insane. It's literally like the price of a coffee for 2 days, maybe even the price of one expensive coffee in London. One of our clients, Will, recently set up his digital home. He used the proposal writing process using Gemini, and he closed a £1,500 deal after the first 2 weeks of being involved in this community. So my friend, if you want to get access to our entire step-by-step process on how to build your digital home with AI, then dive in and I'll see you on the inside, my friend. But for now, let's get back to the video. All right, so you can see the first result here. It's pretty much one-shotted the entire landing page, and immediately it's looking much better than the example. However, there's a few errors, right? So it says, is your brain stopping you? Like, is your brain stopping you from what? Okay, and so remember, this is like our main headline here. But anyway, it's taken the text and it's typeset it. You know, it's created some good design, and so we've got a really first good draft around the event. You can see that, you know, it's got details on the 2-day intensive, etc., etc. So ultimately, you know, this is a really good starting point. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just like tweak and make sure the copy is relevant to what I'm actually trying to communicate here. So I can just basically go here and annotate some of these sections, update this copy to say, and then I just paste my title there, and then add that to the chat and just send that in. All right, and so I'm now going to work my way through this landing page, ensuring all of the copy is on point. Then we can go in and add more epic design features. Okay, so the headline has been updated and it is also mobile optimized, which is pretty cool. And we've got our block of text and our copywriting down here. Okay, so now what I want to do is basically pass this landing page through my NeuroDrivers filter. Okay, so we've got attention, the copy is me-centric, it's got emotion in it, but I think we're missing visual and contrast and also maybe a little bit of tangible, okay? What I'm gonna do now is ensure the landing page is hitting these notes as well, just to take it up a notch a little bit, okay? So you can see here, there's a few AI suggestions, all right, which I think is just such a cool feature of this whole thing. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and add in my own sort of prompts here. So I've just added this prompt, please strategically add more visual images and videos where it makes sense on the page that ultimately accompanies what's being said in the copy. Here is an example of how the images should be treated. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my example and just pick out a few sections here where it uses images pretty well. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag those in because I like how these images are treated. But let's see what happens now. Hopefully it doesn't screw up our text too much, but I think this would be a nice addition. Okay, so it's gone ahead and added some image placeholders. Okay, so you can see here that now we have sections where we can actually go in and add our own images. Because for now, like these are okay, but ultimately I would want more control on actually adding, what the images are specifically doing. I typically don't like to add images inside Google AI Studio. I like to do it when I get into the funnel hosting platform because then I can host the images on actual image URLs. And we have another tutorial on how to actually transfer this over to a platform like Go High Level. You can check that video out over here. That's a cool addition. So what we're going to go ahead now and do is just add some more cool features and suggestions from the suggestions section over here. Okay, so for example, enhance visual storytelling. So in the sales copy component, strategically place more visual elements like infographics or subtle animated graphics that illustrate key concepts such as social conditioning, wealth accumulation, or behavioral training. Awesome, like let's do that. Okay, so I've just gone down the page and I've added a bunch of these suggestions from Google. And you can see here, it's like added these like really cool infographic design things, which ultimately are illustrating what's being said in the copy, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so for example, these things, it's added these nice little infographics. It's added a video option here. Also this illustration of wealth being a soft skill. So for example, the determinants of financial success, what most people think it is technical knowledge, but actually it's behavior and discipline, which is awesome. So all of these visual things are now illustrating what's actually being said in a far more tangible way. And you can also see here, we've now got an accumulation model, which shows contrast between the standard behavior and the wealth behavior. If you look back at our 6 neurodrivers, we now have visual contrast and we've got tangible, we've got emotion in the copy and the videos and the images. We've got me-centric copy, we've got attention, which is the headline right at the top. Now, just so I can close the loop on this, I'm actually going to use exactly the same attention-grabbing headline as the original sales copy. Let's go ahead and add the comment, change this headline to say, add it to the chat. The reason I'm doing this, right, is so I can basically, on the thumbnail of this video, have contrast. Okay, so I'm going to show this landing page, and then I'm going to show this landing page, and hopefully that's another example to you on how you can use contrast across all of your marketing assets, thumbnails, everything. Because again, contrast is such a powerful tool in marketing. So let's get that changed, and then I think we're pretty much ready to actually get this funnel live. Okay, so I've updated the titles. I've got a cool logo now for my event. All of the copy is now written. I've got really cool graphics that ultimately illustrate everything. I've got places I can pop videos in, and ultimately, this feels like something that's far more premium, and it has all of the persuasive neuromarketing copy principles basically baked into it now. Now all I have to do is go ahead, transfer this into HTML code and host it on a funnel building site such as Go High Level. Again, there's a video where I go into how to actually host this landing page. Now it's time to go market the living daylights out of this thing and fill the event up. And so all of the things like linking the buttons, right now this is like a scroll across. We've got the apply now, and inside Go High Level is actually where I would hook this button up to something like a simple pop-up form, for example. But the video that we did previously will show you exactly how to do that. But my friend, remember that the designing part is like the easiest, most fun part of this whole thing. The real magic lies when you actually are writing persuasive copy designed to target a very specific type of person, your target audience, for example. Okay, and that's why we go through this whole process of using the GPTs to do the target audience research, make sure that the words are actually me-centric to the person who's viewing this page. Otherwise, you've just got a beautifully designed digital brochure that's going to do absolutely nothing. So, my friend, hopefully you're inspired to go out and create an awesome landing page and ultimately start making money a lot quicker than you would have been able to just a few months ago. So if you like this video, hit the like button, comment below this video, and let me know what you want to learn more about, and we'll put that into the pipeline of videos coming up very soon. I'll see you on the next one.